About 2 months to election, the ruling party is going around sharing money in the form of trader money. I want you to ask them, when they come to you and they give you that money, ask them, where were they when you couldn't afford to buy food?
Aisha Yesufu is one of this administration's fiercest critics. The co-convener of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign minces no words in calling out Nigeria's leaders in situations she feels they have failed. In this second part of Roots TV exclusive, Aisha Yesufu talks about possibilities of her incarceration and death as an activist.
I am because we are.
Aren't you afraid of your life? I mean, you are so vocal.
Are we alive in Nigeria?
So you're not afraid of getting killed?
We are alive in Nigeria.
Ooh.
This one is the life that we have. We are not alive in this country. We are merely surviving. I was 9, 10. I've always been vocal all my life. I remember there was a time that my father had accused me of something. I can't remember what it is right now. And it turned out to be false. And I said to my dad, do you know you wronged me and you need to apologize? And apparently, in our cultural thing, a child doesn't say to her parents that they've wronged, and it was within the family. It was another cousin that had done that. And I don't know how, I grew up and I don't know how to snitch, and I'll never snitch on anybody, but I'll take on issues. And it became an issue. Oh, my father wasn't talking to me, everybody was sorry. But I was wronged. And so people need to get off that mentality. And part of the things I grew up, so as a child, by the age of 9, 10, I said to myself, the worst thing any human being can do to me, because I got a lot of beatings. And I'm a stubborn person. And even as a child, you're going to beat me. I'm going to stand here and you're going to give me as many lashes as you want. I'm not going to move. There won't be a whimper. You will not see me go down. I know that can be quite frustrating.
Very frustrating for whoever is disciplining you.
Whoever is beating you. And when you're done, you tell me, and I'll go. Wow. So I always knew all of that. So at that age, I said to myself, the worst thing any human being can do to me is to kill me. And I say, I'm going to die anyway. So it's not the worst thing. So even today, some people say, you're not afraid of me.
Yes.
But I'm 45. How many Nigerians have lived to be 45 and done what they want to do? I live every day a fulfilled human being because I live my life on my own terms. Not on the terms of the society, what they expect from me as a woman, not on the terms of anything. I live my life on my own terms. I'm a Muslim and I follow my injunction the way I want to follow it. Not the way people want me to, the way my God said I should do it. And that's it. So I owe nobody.
You're a mom. You've got a husband. You've got 2 kids. I mean, really, I'm asking you based as a Nigerian, a mother of 2 kids and a husband. Even if you're not afraid of your own life, what about the life of your kids? The life of your spouse? The life of your spouse, the people you care about?
Life,
because,
in this life, anything can go. Anything can go. You can lose everything. I mean, I don't owe anything anyway. I'm not attached to anything. There are people who have lost their children in accidents. You wake up, you don't have them anywhere. There are people who have lost their lives. It is what it is. But the issue of being in prison and being afraid and say you will not speak out because of certain, it's worse. It will be worse than all those, whatever it is that one will lose out.
Have you ever been arrested before? Have you ever been imprisoned, incarcerated?
No, not really. The only one we had was when, as members of Bring Back Our Girls, some of our members were taken away. We followed them to the police station and then they locked up the place and we stayed there for a few hours. So that wasn't really an arrest. But ironically, just this morning, before I came here, so myself and my husband, there's this, I was supposed to be at an event today, so I couldn't go. So I sent them a voice note. And so I played the voice note for my husband to listen. And he said, they'll come and arrest you. When they'll arrest, I'm like, oh yeah. And always what I said, don't even bother. If they arrest me, just go and sleep. I'll end up staying there. Kukuma use the opportunity to lose weight. I'll be eating enough food. And so he kept laughing. And I said, you know what? It's better for them to arrest you than kidnappers to come and carry you. At least you won't be paying ransom. Nobody be demanding. And he said, that's right.
So you're basically prepared for...
And no, at any time, please feel free. They don't even need to come and arrest me. All they need to do is, Aisha, we need you there. I will go. It's not human beings that are in cell. Let me tell you something. And you know what me and my husband were discussing? We laughed over it. You know those people in cell, they are safer than us outside. Nigeria is so unsafe, where you have the primary responsibility of government is the protection of lives and properties. And the Nigerian government has failed that. And you know, any government that fails to protect the lives and properties of its citizens is not fit to be called a government. And where we are right now, you don't know who is coming to come and attack you. Zamfara people are still crying. Is it kidnappers? Is it bandits? Is it terrorist headsmen? Is it Boko Haram? What it is outside? Is it armed robbers? People are dying every day on the streets. And instead of them to face the government and say it's all about bad government, they are either calling uncle in the village people, wizard, the devil. We'll blame everybody. We won't blame the real culprit. And so we laughed always. Say, my husband even say, you know, even the prison is even safer than outside here. So
let's change the direction of this conversation a little bit. Let's go deeper into politics. I mean, 2019 is just around the corner, and of course your friend Obi Ezekwesili is running for presidency, and you have been vocal enough to say you will criticize her more than anybody else.
Absolutely.
Because that is what you do. Now, going into 2019, you're seeing what is going on. What are your thoughts? I mean, it is, for some people, they say it's more of a two-party thingy right now. Atiku Abubakar and President Muhammad Buhari, and then a few others here and there, including Obi Ezekwesili. What are your thoughts? Whoever wins, how do you think the trajectory of this country would go if it's the incumbent coming back, or Atiku, or even Obi Ezekwesili? What do you think would happen 2019?
I think more is not of what do I think would happen. I think it's more of what do I hope would happen, which was my hope in 2015, and it never materialized, and which is that the citizens would understand the power that they have and occupy the office of the citizen to make demands on government.
Are we any closer to doing that?
Well, we are not. And that's actually the silent. The reason why you see a lot of things going on is because citizens have refused. They are still afraid. They're more the older generation are coming from the military era, where you dare not say anything to government. I mean, people are still surprised. They think the moment you protest, you'll be arrested, you'll be this, you'll be that. And then the younger generation are this entitled, they have this entitlement kind of mindset. We call them, is it a microwave generation? Everything is also, things are being done for them. They don't know that you have to fight for what you have. And so we have this disparity, and there's no cohesion in citizens coming together and making those demands. And that's what has been happening, and that's what. So I will hope that Nigerians would sit up and make demands on their government. And first of all, to understand the fact that you voted a government or you didn't vote for that particular doesn't mean that you shouldn't criticize. I mean, voting somebody is not you didn't give up your right now. You didn't enter life imprisonment. So if the person is doing well, fine, kudos, give the person thumbs up. Not doing well, criticize the person and tell the person those are the right things that need to be done. Because governance, there is the demand and the supply side of governance. There are two ways about it. The citizens will demand. Those elected will supply. And so where there is no demand, you supply whatever is there for you to supply. And it's easier to supply bad governance than it is to supply good governance. Good governance takes a lot of work. And so people really don't want to work. So they would rather do the easy way. But one thing that we almost understand, every Nigerian from 18 years and above, even if you're below 18, you need to be part of, we all have to be part of politics. We are either voting or being voted for. That is a must, because it is politics that gives us good governance, that will give us the governance, whether good or bad. And so each and every one of us must be interested in it. When you come to the issue of people saying that, oh, it's only a two-way thing, I think it's an enslavement. It's a mental captivity kind of a thing, where people don't even understand the power that they have. So some people will say, oh, why should I go and vote? Our vote won't count. How do you know that if your votes don't count, the politicians will not be paying. They will not be buying for the votes. They will not be saying buy and show. I think pay and show and pay, get your pay. They won't be doing that. So because it counts, that's why they're doing that. And so it is important there for us. There's this missing middle in Nigeria. And let me just sit up to say this now. Most of the time, we say the grassroots, we blame them for selling their votes. First of all, their poverty has been weaponized. They are down there. They have not been treated well by the society. They can't eat, they can't feed, they can't take care of their children. 5,000, 10,000 will mean a lot to them. And then they are not educated. I always say to people, the education that we have is not for just us alone. It's for thousands and millions of others who also are not educated. So when you are educated, that voice, you need to understand that it's not just for you. You have to speak for others. And so when we leave all of this all of these are grassroots people who are not that educated, who are poor, to be the ones to make the choices of leadership for us, then we should be ashamed of ourselves. We should look and say, why are they going to give? So they are going to look at, this is the only thing I can get, because when the politicians are done, they will never come to there again until after 4 years. But the other people who have understanding, who are educated, who are at least who are comfortable, who 10,000, 5,000 will not mean anything to you. I mean, the vice president today is going around sharing 10,000 naira, trade that money. He knows there are certain places he will not go and share that 10,000 naira to even buy ice cream for your children. Yeah, there are people who that money is life and death to them. So why do you leave the voting to those people? For those people whom the 10,000 naira will not induce them in any way, they are the ones who refuse to vote. We call them the missing middle. So they stay at home. On the day of election, they are either watching Telemundo, or they are watching Premier League, or they are watching one movie or the other, right? They are doing one thing or the other. Meanwhile, the people who don't have understanding of what politics or governance is all about, who don't understand the relationship between their government and themselves, we leave them to go and vote, and they will vote anyhow for us.
The responsibility of changing Nigeria is in our hands, and you're doing your part of advocacy and speaking up and activism. Now, as we round up our conversation, talk to that Nigerian. As 2019 comes up, what should you be doing?
This is what I need to say to you. As 2019 comes up, you must remember that this country belongs to all of us, and that no Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian, and that at any time, anywhere you see a country where there is greatness, it was people who decided that enough is enough. They needed their country to be great. And if you want Nigeria to be great, you have to occupy your office of the citizen. It's doable and it's possible, and it is in our hands. And this 2019, as we go into it, let's not vote out of fear. Let's vote out of courage, because we know we can. Enough of the politicians who think they own Nigeria.
I'm a traumatized mother. We all are traumatized Nigerians who for 10 months have not known where our daughters are.
It is clear Aisha Yesufu has given her life to the cause of speaking out against injustice. As she has called out to Nigerians to demand good governance from their leaders, we will have to wait till 2019 general elections to see how many heed her call.
Voted for change is the same thing that this president is entrenching in this administration. Dear fellow citizens, enough is enough. We must do the needful the same way we did it last administration. This is not about sentiment, this is not about religion, this is not about ethnicity, this is not about gender, this is not about age. This is about Nigeria, and Nigeria must work in our lifetime.